All right, so I want to talk about clients today. So if you guys have questions on what on what clients are and how you build them, how you find them, drop them in the comments below, and we'll get to those questions. And then James, people are starting to pile in, or
Yep.
all right, cool. All right, so what is a client? First off, and as a salon owner, you got two sets of clients. You have clients that sit in the chair, and you have clients that work behind the chair. And so you have to kind of change the way you look at who your staff is, because really your staff, they're your clients too. And if you could treat them like clients, you want to make raving fans of those clients, you will have a successful business. Marketing is no different to whether you're marketing to a stylist or you're marketing to a client that actually gets their hair done in your salon or eyebrows done or whatever it is that you do. And when you make that switch, you realize it is literally the same thing. So if you can't find stylists to work in your salon, it's probably because you might suck at marketing and you're not doing the things you should be doing, or you're not reaching or speaking to the people you need to speak to. So just on a basic level of marketing, the more people you reach and the more attention you get, the more people know about your thing. And if your thing is cutting hair, then great, more people are going to come to you to get their hair cut. If your thing is having a salon, and you need stylists, then they'll come and work at your salon. But if you're not letting people know and you don't have good marketing that builds trust with people who do hair to make them think, wow, I should go work in Nick's salon. It looks like it's so much fun there. Or I always hear they always have education there. I always hear how great they take people from hair school and turn them into amazing stylists. Like whatever the thing is, if no one's talking about it or you're not showing it on social media, no one's going to come work at your salon. And so people need to understand you have to market to stylists in order to attract stylists. Indeed does not work. You have to make sure you take a look at your Instagram, take a look at your social media. And if you were a stylist and you worked at a salon that you weren't happy at, would you pick your salon to go work for? I don't know. Would you? Ask yourself that. Go to your social media and scroll through it. I'm creating the social media that is attracting the people I want to work in my salon. I don't want to micromanage anyone. I don't want to baby anybody anymore. I want a team of killers. So if my content excites you and it makes you feel like, wow, I want to work there, I want to have my own brand too, then that's the kind of person that I want on my team. I don't want to micromanage people. So if you ever see me on social media, you know exactly the things I talk about and you align with that as a stylist and you want to have that kind of business inside of a business, then you're going to come work for me. If that's not your business, that's not your thing, then you won't do that as a salon owner. What is your thing? What's your passion? Do you realize you're a personal brand? The things that we used to talk about years ago that you shouldn't do, like don't put your personal life on social media. No, put your personal life on social media. If you go horseback riding, show that. If you like Pilates, show that. These are connection points you can make with the stylist. Now, for stylists out there who are looking for clients, or if you're an owner who's still trying to attract clients, these are connection points for you to build your book up with. Like having these two accounts where you have like your personal account and then you have your hair account, it's silly. Like now you got to manage two different accounts. You got to talk to two different message threads. More people typically know who you are on your personal account. Just make that a hair account. Just make that your personal branded account. That's how you're going to get clients. They're going to connect with you. They're going to see you at the gym or at the horseback riding place or Pilates, or you're going to showcase your life in your stories. Then they're going to see, oh, wow, you do hair. Oh, my God, you're at a wedding. And then there's connection points like you could tag a friend. One of the things that I love to do when it comes to getting clients is if you take someone's after picture or you make a reel out of their hair, have that person collaborate on that post. So that whole person's audience, all their followers, they see who did their hair. And it's so easy for them just to click, and then get to your page. Building a clientele really isn't that difficult to do. I promise you it's not that hard. And if you're an owner trying to find stylists, don't look at this as trying to find stylists. Look at it as building a clientele. Because if you own a salon, you should be pretty busy behind the chair. or else you don't really have any business owning a salon, unless you're just an investor and you own it just to be an owner. But if you're doing hair and you opened up because you wanted more freedom and you wanted to build this whole thing and the culture and the brand and the core values and all of the stuff that goes behind the scenes of owning a salon, of why you want to have your own personal brand, that's all well and dandy, but you should be pretty booked. And if you know how to get busy behind the chair, you know how to get people to work behind those chairs. There's something blocking you. So you have to start changing the way you look at how you attract clients and who your clients are. Your clients, first and foremost, that's your team. And there has to come a point in your career where you're like, you know what? I think it's time to build the team and step away from behind the chair. That may not be for everybody. If you truly love doing hair, then do hair your whole life behind the chair. But if you truly want to be a business owner and you truly want to own your salon, you have to start taking a look at your team and your staff as your clients as well. And what are you doing on a day-to-day basis to get more attention and speak to more people? One of the things I talk about is, how many people do you message a day? Like when I have a new person come to the program, or I have someone who's really struggling with trying to find stylists, I ask them, well, how many did you talk to yesterday? How many stylists are you speaking to on a daily basis? How many? Ask yourself that. If you're an owner watching this right now, when's the last time you messaged somebody on Instagram and was genuinely curious about how they were doing? Don't be salesy. Like, don't try and poach them like without building any rapport. But how many times have you reached out to people today? So it's super important. Like the analogy I give is, imagine there's a party, and we're going to use the whole owner and stylist analogy for a client. Let's say there's a party full of 500 hairstylists that are all looking to go work somewhere. And there's two owners in that party. And you have one owner sitting in the corner, not talking to anybody. And then you have another owner who's mingling, handing out cards, talking to people, getting phone numbers, finding Instagram accounts. Who do you think is going to leave that party with a full staff? Probably the owner walking around, talking to people, making friends. Social media is that party. And guess what you're doing? You're being that person sitting in the corner, not talking to anybody. Who cares if someone thinks you're weird? Who cares if they don't read your text or they ignore you? It doesn't matter. What matters is you wake up every single day and you do your biggest priority is to speak to as many people as you can to let them know about your salon. This was no different than when you first started doing hair, trying to get clients in your chair. It's no different. So don't look at it like it's different. It's the same thing. So with that said, James, I want to jump into some Q&A. And if there are any questions, drop them in the comments below and we'll get right to them. Are there any right now, James?
HC3 Fade said, Nick, it's time. I'll be reaching out to you.
Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, please reach out. Hope things are going well over there. Clientele is clientele. Whether it's a coaching business, whether it's a hair salon, whether it's a barbershop, it doesn't matter. A lawyer, a chiropractor, a client's a client. You get clientele the same way any other person who has clients gets clients. And so if you look at your team as clients too, the process is the same. Just change your mindset, how you think about your team. They're your clients. They provide you an income. James.
No questions as of right
All right,
now.
cool. Yeah, it's got to be a short live today because I'm jumping on a one-on-one. But if you could just wrap your head around that little mindset switch of who your clients really are, and you understand that your stylists are really your clients too, it will change the way you do everything in business. So, guys.
Arabella Quino. Nick, how would you just start the conversation like out of the blue?
All right, cool. This is why it's so important to have good content. You're going to reach out to people. All right, so the question was this: how do you start conversations with strangers on the internet? This is why content's so important. Create content that gets people to either ask questions, share it, like it, leave a comment, and then you engage with those people. Now, it's always cool to have some kind of something to give them, a freebie, something that's kind of related to the topic of that particular post, or kind of like what you do. So for example, hey, James, send. Thanks for showing love on my last post. Thanks for liking. Thanks for whatever. send. Are you interested in this or interested in that? Are you here? Are you following me for inspiration or are you following for the hair tips? Right? If you guys follow me, I probably messaged you this before. I do it every day. And so I open it like that. Hey, James, send. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the like. Thanks for the comment. And then it's like, are you here for the inspo or are you looking for some hair tips? And if that video was about maybe thinning hair, because you did a video on that, have something like a follow-up video to send them if the conversation goes stale or just to add more value. So I would see where the conversation goes. If they're like, I'm here for the inspo, awesome. I go live every day. I mean, I do this real time. Or I'm here to learn more about thinning hair or color or haircuts or whatever. And then you send them, you get in a conversation with them and you send them either a freebie or a document. Now, if you're doing this for stylists, you can maybe start doing cutting classes on your Instagram. Like imagine if Jacob Kahn, a lot of people know his, or Blonde Chronicles, or think of another influencer, Ben Brown, someone who educates about hair techniques and tips. Imagine they reached out and was like, hey, thanks for following, Jen. And are you here for the inspo or you like learning new hair techniques? If you're following them for hair techniques, you're probably going to say, I'm here to learn new hair techniques. Cool. Well, I'm hosting a class next month at my salon on the 8th. If you want, you're more than welcome to come. And then you get that person in your world. So make sure your content, you're able to use that content as leverage for the conversation. And then you can guide them to another post or give them that PDF or that other video. Hope that answers your question. Any more questions, James?
So it can be any like and or comment.
Yeah. So people follow you, right? They're liking, commenting your stuff. Say thank you to them. It could be anything. It could be a story view even. That's it. All you're trying to do is open up the conversation. That's it. And then people will either engage with you or won't engage with you. You just keep on going. That part's a numbers game. The rest of the conversation, that's a little more sales focused. So as an owner of a salon, it's crucial you master really two areas, sales and leadership. If you master sales, you could have any conversation with anybody, whether it's a client or a stylist, and sell them on your vision and your dream. And you can sell them on how and why your salon's the best. And then once you get them in your world, then you can be a great leader and then keep them on your team. Any more questions, James?
Yeah, hold on. How do I position myself as the go-to stylist in my area?
What's your Instagram handle?
I don't know.
She didn't have the handle there?
No.
You have a name there, James?
No name.
All right, cool. So, all right. Comment from a different platform. How you position yourself as the go-to stylist in your area? What you need to do first off is be the best. So when people come to you, they tell other people how amazing you are. Then all you do is post content 2, 3, 4 times a day, showcasing how amazing you are. Not just content like your after pictures, actual techniques and tips for people to learn from, share, like, and comment on. Then you want to make sure everyone leaves you a review. So the more people who know about you, maybe do a model call, maybe start doing some fun content, go to the center of town when it's not winter because it's brutally cold out right now, and then just get a folding chair, put someone in it, and start doing updos for people right in the center of town. Get a pair of wireless clippers and start fading hair right in the center of town. Create a name for yourself. That's how you become the go-to stylist in your area. James.
We got what are some common mistakes stylists make when they're trying to build their clientele?
What are some common mistakes? That's a good question. Common?
Mm-hmm.
They compare themselves to other people. So the most common mistake I see that stylists make when trying to build their book is they compare themselves to other people. You're comparing your book to the stylist who was doing hair for 10 years. You compare your highlights to the stylist who's doing hair for 10 years. You compare your book to the person you graduated school with, and you didn't put the work in yet, and she's busy or he's busier than you. And now you're comparing yourself to them for the work you didn't put in yet. And then you get discouraged. Put the work in. And maybe you guys put the same amount of work in. You're just on a different timeline. They may just be more talented than you. You might need to focus on something different. So the comparison of new styles and what they do, I think it discourages them. And then all of a sudden they start taking a look at other things in other industries and are like, hey, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I should go be a realtor. So don't ever compare yourself. I think that's the worst thing that new stylists do is they start comparing themselves to other people. Everybody's on a different journey. Everybody has a different timeline. You are on your own. Embrace it, love it, and just bust your ass. But there's a bunch of others too I could probably talk about, but I'm going to use that one for now. James. All right.
How should I handle price objections from potential clients?
There's really only one objection or one way to handle it. There's that's a lie. There's a lot of ways to handle price objections from clients, but ask the question. Like, do you not value yourself? Is it too expensive because you don't value yourself enough to pay that much for a haircut, or you don't think I'm worth it? But there's obviously other things in that too. But in reality, what's the objection about? Do they legitimately don't have the money? Like, if you legitimately don't have the money for the full highlight, well, guess what? Let's do a partial highlight. Let's do a face frame highlight. What can we do that's aligned with your budget and still help you kind of achieve the thing you want? And so don't look at it as an objection sometimes, like I started with this conversation in the beginning. You don't value me, you don't value your hair. Sometimes the person might legitimately not have the money. If that's not the case because they pulled up in a Mercedes with a Birkin bag and they're just being cheap, then it's a value issue. But when it comes to sales objections, it's literally not an objection, it's a conversation. So just have the conversation with them about what it is that they think is too expensive, or is there a workaround for it? And typically, honestly, guys, if you're the best at what you do, you're not going to get a sales objection. Like, no one's going to think you're too expensive. I guarantee you people go to Ted Gibson's salon and don't try and like negotiate the price of a $2,600 haircut because he's confident. He charges that. You're going to get more sales objections on the lower income, middle class type budget salons than you will the super high end salons, because they're charging a premium. They should be delivering a premium service and a premium value. And so it's the people who don't really value themselves that have kind of shady pricing, not shady, but like iffy pricing. It's kind of in the middle or a little more low end. They're the ones who deal with more of the objections. The premium models, the premium salons, that business model, you don't really get a lot of objections when it comes to price. That's not your clientele. They just pay for shit.
Tanya Fairlinger, do you find updating stories or posting content more effective for capturing new clients or staff members, or are they equally important?
Equally important. I think the best thing to acquire more people, whether it's clients, stylists, whatever, is have conversations with more people. That's it. So make sure you go back to the people who watch your story and like it. Say thank you to them. Same thing with the feed, with the reels and the posts. And James, last question, if there is one.
Yeah. How do I improve the overall client experience to increase word of mouth referrals?
Ask that one more time.
How do I improve the overall client experience to increase word of mouth referrals?
Awesome. Here's the best way to increase the overall client experience. Ask every single client how their experience was and how you can make it better. And then make a list of all the similarities between all the clients of what they say you should do to make it better, and go make that better. Then after you make that better, you're going to wow everybody with your experience, and then you tell them to leave you a review. That's the number one way, is feedback. There's something called the client feedback loop, and that feedback loop is what you're going to use to drive your business to create the ultimate experience. That's how you do it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into the live. We're going to start going live again, I think, on a daily basis. Typically between 12 and 3, I'm going to rotate the times of what I have going on in the schedule, but you will start seeing me live every day again. And yeah, so if you got any questions, just shoot them over to me. See you later.